Mayuresh Joshi is with us. Mayuresh, not asking you about individual stocks, you give us your idea. The markets have corrected 10% from the top. I guess it's a good time to start deploying some part of the money that you were sitting on. If you had to give me one or two stocks that you have conviction on as a house, which ones would they be?
Afternoon, Nigel. I think a couple of areas that we are probably looking at. One is obviously the agrochemical space, where the numbers have been very good. And a stock within this space, Paradeep Phosphates, has given very good set of numbers, Nigel. So the top line growth has been exceptional. The production and sales volumes have been up 5 and 7%. The EBITDA margins for the previous quarter was at 11.4%. And for the first half at 9.7% compared to 3.7%. Now, what is really transpiring is the Kharif season has been good. The expectations of the Rabi season is equally good. And therefore, farm gate prices, as far as their key products are concerned, whether it's DAP, whether it's urea, the backward integration that they've got in terms of ammonia and the phosphoric acid components, really augur well from an earnings perspective. Net debt to equity has come down to 0.82 as we speak for the end of this quarter. And therefore, I think the earnings growth looks on a very solid trajectory for a stock like Paradeep. The other one, obviously, I think within the larger basket of infrastructure stroke manufacturing, our own sense is that I will look out for both these numbers, KEC as well as others, engineering. KEC, decent set of numbers, very strong order book. Management is very, very optimistic, not just in terms of the internal T&D segment, but the overseas T&D segment as well. Margin performance and execution would be top notch. Similarly for Azad, I think strong delivery in terms of execution, the huge market size that energy, aerospace probably provides, and the critical components that Azad provides to the industry as a whole. They're very, very confident in terms of notching up significant amount of earnings growth, significant order wins from Mayor Dukes. We've got significant order wins coming from the previous quarter as well. And therefore, I think a part of these market segments, in our opinion, can hold up as far as earnings are concerned.
Mayuresh, indeed, you have to hand it to the company for pulling off a 17-18% pop in a market which is so weak, right? But what do you think? What has worked? Are you convinced? Because going into the IPO, there were a lot of question marks about how they have lesser market share than Zomato and how they're still not profitable, so on and so forth.
Afternoon, Survi. I think the debut has been stellar, to say the least, in a market like this. But again, two things, as Mangalam also pointed out. One, I think in terms of their expansion plans itself, as far as dark stores are concerned, is very critical for the entire operations, whether it's food delivery or quick commerce. And that is going to be a base case factor in terms of how growth dynamics will be laid out. Obviously, I think its competitor Zomato was already sitting on a pile of cash, and they have done a QIP there as well. So is competition intensity going to increase, both in terms of dark store expansions, in terms of the competitive product pricing, is something to be watched out for. Again, I think a lot of their unlisted peers, something like the Zepto, which has also raised money in the recent past. And let's not forget Reliance Retail. They've already done a pilot with a few cities as we speak. And therefore, as Reliance Retail might also enter this space in the next few quarters quite aggressively, how do the fee parameters play out and how do they ultimately play out on numbers is going to be interesting. Obviously, for Swiggy, the quick commerce segment has yet to evolve. Blinkit evolved wonderfully well for Zomato over the past few quarters. So that is going to be a key factor in terms of consolidation. So stellar debut, but I think wait and watch how the numbers probably play out in the next.
And Mayuresh, appreciate your time here on CNBC TV18 as well. Thanks indeed.